It's
that,
yours.
yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I
Hello?
can hear you. I was just asking you, are you in bed? I hope we didn't wake you up or
No,
something.
I'm over here sitting on the couch,
Oh, okay, that's what it is. All right, it's all yours.
couch. But yeah, no, we're going to be doing a lot of Zoom calls. I think right now I got two tonight. After the 15th, I've already started scheduling 6 Zoom calls with teachers who still want to do something on there. But there's a certain knack. One of the things that we learned during the pandemic, not everybody can do it. Not everybody can associate it. And it brought up a very important fact that Javier talked about a little bit. What if you run into somebody that wants to talk to their husband about it? What I do, I don't do Loom. Okay, I get the appointment right there on the spot with both the husband and wife and tell them we're gonna both jump on a Zoom call. Just did that last week, and the husband's gonna end up doing his own plan after doing that, seeing the presentation himself. So Zoom calls are great, great tool, guys. You gotta do that, and you gotta learn how to master your influence over a Zoom call and how to, basically connect with people on a Zoom call. So what I'm going to do, just from a lack of time, I was going to do a role play, but I'm just going to show you what I do as far as on the Zoom call, which is a separate PowerPoint that just lays the groundwork of what we're going to cover on the Zoom call. So let me share my screen and let me know if everybody can actually see the PowerPoint.
Are you going to
Yes,
make the PowerPoint available to us, George?
yes, I'll send it over to
Yes, you can
Javier.
see it.
Javier will be the one that's going to share that with you as well. So basically, again, this is going to be a very abbreviated version because I know we only have so much time. Plus, I got to get ready for my own in-person training with my team on there. But essentially, once I get somebody on a Zoom call, I walk them through what we're going to cover on the Zoom call. Yeah, this is called California Teachers Retirement, and of course, will that be enough for retirement? And then I lay the groundwork of what we're going to talk about. You got to keep people engaged on the Zoom call because if you don't keep them engaged and on point, you're going to lose them on a Zoom call. They're going to get distracted. They're going to get phone calls. They're going to get kids crying off or dog barking on the side. So you got to keep them be very visual on a Zoom call. So I'll walk them through. Okay, we're going to cover your pension. We're going to cover Social Security if you qualified or if your spouse qualified for Social Security, and then we're going to cover your retirement savings. So we just go through what the CalSTRS is, typically what people actually get out of CalSTRS, which is usually about half, 55, 60%, somewhere, it never fails. It's usually around that time. And then we cover what the 3 parts are. We're going to talk about your defined benefit. We're going to talk about your cash balance supplement. Very key. If you guys have not, for those of you that were in the training with me on Saturday, this is key. If you advise them what to do with this, especially if they're 1 or 2 years away from retirement, this is another amount of money. And some of these teachers have a lot. I ran into one teacher that's got over $250,000 sitting in that supplement that hopefully, but if she retires this year or the next, she's going to roll it over to me on there. And then, of course, defined contributions, which are personal savings, 403Bs, and TSAs. Okay, we go over a sample progress report, what's in there, make sure that we're going to tell them we're going to get you logged in to CalSTRS. If you haven't set up your login, I'm going to help you get your login all set up. Once you're in there, we're going to go right directly to your progress report. We're going to hit the year, okay, and then we're going to start taking a look at all the different parts: service credit, the defined benefit account, and of course the supplement account. Now, real quick, I'm just going to ask people real quick. Anybody know what their options are with the supplement account? Especially
That's
those
what I
that were
need you to, yeah, definitely tell me because I have a 67-year-old with 130,000. And
okay.
I'm like, does she have the time?
Well, I'll tell you right now, if she's got that much and she's going to retire, let's say at the end of this year, you make her your client, and essentially at that point, you're going to get that money rolled over into an IRA that you can do with National Life. But that's one aspect on there. You got to explain to them what it is they can do. They can add it to their pension or they can just cash it out. But the two detriments of either one of those options: one, if they add it to their pension, they're giving the money back to CalSTRS, and then they lose control over that money. They will never have access to it again. And it may increase their pension slightly, but if they die early, CalSTRS keeps every dime. So we don't want them to do that. Cashing out is the other option, but you don't want to do that either, especially if they have that kind of money, because what's going to happen? Who's going to take a big chunk of it? Anybody?
Uncle Scam.
Uncle Scam. Going to take that. So the best option is to roll this out into an IRA, hopefully with you. That way it protects them against taxes because it's not a taxable event. and they can turn around and still have access to money. Now, keep in mind, they can only do this at retirement only. Okay. They can't do it while they're in service. So if you got somebody like Rochelle that's 67, I ran into somebody that's 64. She's hopefully going to retire at the end of this year. Offer to help them fill out the CalSTRS paperwork, and you can actually be in control as far as making their selections and then rolling that money out. And it's pretty simple. During the pandemic, I had 6 clients that retired, and that allowed me to keep my income up just by rolling out their supplement plans into IRAs with me during that time period. And it's just a matter of just indicating on the CalSTRS paperwork where the money's going and the account number that they need to have open. And CalSTRS will just send a check. They'll send a check right along with doing their benefits on there.
Hey,
But
George.
George, how do I speak to the 10-year surrender charge for that? I mean, I still have to talk about it, right?
Yeah, no, you absolutely have to talk about it. But if they're going to start taking income right away, make sure they do it through the GLIR, because then essentially the surrender charges will not apply. They can start taking income as soon as 1 year after they roll it over into that account. Okay, or they could
The
even
guarantee fund, GRL, is that the guarantee?
guarantee lifetime income. Right.
Okay, all right, thanks.
All right, let's keep going. All right, then I take them through a sample.
I think somebody else had a question. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that was me, Javier. George, I guess I'll talk to you more on offline with this, but I got 360 people over 63 years old. So I want to talk to you more about that. I want to be able to find that money. But you were saying that the supplemental income or the supplemental amount they were getting, right? That is not taxable. You can roll that into, or they pay
roll it in, if you roll it into an IRA, then it's not a taxable event.
Got it.
If they cash it out, it's taxable. If they put it into their pension, they'll get a pension out, but that's also going to be taxable. So roll it out into an IRA.
Wonderful. Thank you.
All right. Let's keep going, guys. Now, again, as far as where to find it, Denny, again, go back to the website and get them into their homepage, and you'll see what they have in there right on their progress report. A lot of you have to start using this CalSTRS website. It's a wealth of information. It's going to validate you in the eyes of the client. I got to watch my time. It's going to basically put you in a position where they're going to listen to you because you are the expert. You know more about their pension than they do on there. And then I just take them through as far as, okay, we're going to talk about how to determine your pension. You guys should all know how to do this. We'll do the good old painted feature. Okay. And then we just break it down. Now, this is all done on the Zoom call and just lays the expectation as far as what they're going to have. Social Security, if they qualify for Social Security, then you cover this portion. If they're not getting any Social Security or the husband's not getting any Social Security, you don't have to go through this portion. But if they are curious about it or think that they may have qualified, direct them to this website, www.ssa.gov. Once they get to that website, they can go right in, sign in with their Social Security in there, and they can print a copy of the Social Security statement. And that'll tell them if they've qualified and what they're entitled to as far as income. But remember, the windfall elimination provision is going to kick in once they start receiving their pension on there. Same thing with the government pension offset. If they're getting widower benefits, they got to make sure that they take it while they're working, because the moment they get their pension, they'll essentially be ineligible to get any widower benefits from Social Security. All right. So then we just do a quick review. Okay, we covered your pension. We covered Social Security from your previous job. Now let's talk about retirement savings. Okay. So what we're going to talk about, of course, is 403Bs, 457, IRAs, Roth, and IRA. And 2 important questions you have to ask yourself. How does the money get taxed? And how does the money grow? So let's talk about tax. Okay, there's 2 options available to you. One is tax deferred, where the money goes in with no taxes paid. The account grows tax deferred, but when you take it out, it's 100% taxable. These are your pensions, 401ks, 403Bs, IRAs, and like that function that way. The other option is tax-free. This is money that you've already paid taxes on while their taxes are still low. The money grows tax-free, but more importantly, when you access it, it's 100% tax-free. And this is where you talk about your Roth, your 7702 plans, which is your life insurance, and of course, municipal bonds. All right, so let's talk about Uncle Scam. And I asked them a very simple question. Will taxes be lower or higher in the future? I mean, what do you think? Let them answer. Wait for them to answer. I mean, it's obvious that taxes are going to be higher. It's all, especially with all this debt that we're creating. But let's actually talk about the history of taxes. And it's going back to 1913. And I'll just walk them through. Back in the 20s, when we enjoyed a very low tax bracket, what happened? Okay, if these are teachers. If they don't know what happened in 1929, shame on them. But of course, 1929, we had the Great Crash, and it was followed by World War II. And most people don't even fathom this. Taxes got as high as 94% back in the day, right in the middle of the war. I actually shared this with my son, and he started watching that show Mad Men that was based over there in the 50s. And he came talking to me. So there was an episode where they talked exactly about this. They were just sitting around the water cooler saying, like, why should I make more money if the government's going to end up taking 90% of it on there? So this is very real. So let's fast forward now the 70s. Okay. Taxes went down, thankfully down to 70%. Now, why is this decade important? Well, that's when 401ks, IRAs, 403bs were created as a tax shelter against very high taxes. Now, let's fast forward to essentially today. Taxes are back to a historic low. So it doesn't make sense for you to defer your taxes and put it into a 403b or a 401k. Probably not, because essentially you're going to be putting your money potentially in a higher tax bracket in the future in retirement. And most people think, oh, when I go into retirement, I'm going to be making less money, therefore less tax. No, got to understand, when retirees go into retirement, they lose a lot of tax deductions. Primarily, their home may be paid off, so that's a big one. And of course, their kids are grown and hopefully have moved out of the house, but neither one of them are tax deductible anymore for most retirees. So it impacts them that much higher. Then we go into the investment options, which you guys know very well. I explained to them, here's the stock market, here's the fixed account, here's the index strategy. And in this case, I actually will take out a pen and I will mark each point right there, what happened during the dot-com bubble burst. And I'll do that real quick for you guys, so you guys get the full effect. Okay, right here, this person that, after the dot-com bubble burst, saw their 100,000 go down to 71, while this one went down to 108. And then, of course, 2008 happened. People saw their accounts go down by 40%. While this person, the blue line, stayed exactly where they're at. Again, you guys should know everything that you need to do with this. You got to run the through this, because this is going to disturb them. This is going to disturb them to understand that, heck, I'm in the market, and it's going to provide more business for you to get them out of the market into a fixed index account. All right, and let's keep going. I'm going to try to finish on time, but we're almost out of time here. Okay, there we go. And then we just wrap up with your infamous piece of the pie that you guys should all know about on there. Okay, and that's it. That's essentially everything that we do in the initial PowerPoint. Now, if they want to go directly to their CalSTRS website, take them to the CalSTRS website. Okay, let me stop my share real quick. Okay, and I'll bring up another one. Okay, start getting into the habit of taking them to the CalSTRS website, guys, because we're finding that this is a very powerful tool. If you show them how to read their progress report. So there we go. I'm just going to do it off the PowerPoint. You guys see my screen now?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. And you should be doing this in the field. We're going directly to the CalSTRS website. We're no longer doing the calculations on paper, and primarily because you're having them do it all for you. They'll do that. They'll sign in. You'll help them sign into the website if they need to. Okay, and then you take them right to their progress report. Okay, we open up the progress report, and a couple of things that we do. We show them how to read their progress report, as I showed a few of you on Saturday. But more importantly, we show them, do you have your beneficiaries set up? A lot of them appreciate the fact that you are getting them, making sure the beneficiaries are set up. And it still shocks me to this day that probably 9 out of every 10 teachers we sit down with either don't have a beneficiary at all, or they have an ex-spouse as a beneficiary on there. So the fact that you're able to show them how to change their beneficiaries and update that's going to be very helpful, aside from reading the progress report on there. Once we open the progress report, we just basically do all the same thing we talk about. Here's your service credit, here's your defined benefit account. Okay, this is going to be the source of your pension for the first 2.5 years, etc. And then right there at the very top, we take a look. Who's your recipient? Who's your beneficiary? If they don't have anybody there, you got to take them and you got to show them how to get set up their beneficiary on the website itself. Again, this is all full service for them. Okay. Of course, we talk about the defined benefit supplement, which we already covered as well. And then we go right through everything. How did they qualify for service credit? How many have guys heard, hey, I want to retire 50 or 55 on there? Or right there on the progress report, it shows what the qualifying event is so that it can retire 55 and or 50 years old. Now, remember, only people at 2% 60 can retire at 50 if they have at least 30 years of service credits on there. And now, of course, we take them over to the windfall elimination. We'll cover that, how that's going to be affected by their pension. Okay. And then et cetera. You could just go through this over and over again. I'm going to go ahead and stop my share. Okay. And away we go. Once you do all that, you've got them engaged. Okay. You probably will set up another appointment with them, another Zoom call, because now you've piqued their interest on there. And you should be able to do calculations right there on the spot as far as what is going to happen if they don't have enough money. Last thing, because we've been running into this a lot. How many of you had clients that you're still waiting for their statements, or they're saying, you know what, let me get my 403B statements and then let me get back to you? Just anybody waiting for clients to get back with them with their statements?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Very simple tool for LAUSD, not for Montebello, unfortunately, but for LAUSD, what you want to do, you want to take them directly to the TPA website on there. So let me do that real quick, and then I'll share my page. Javier, how am I doing on time? I don't want to take you away from anything else you wanted to cover.
No, you're good. You're good. I'm done. Go ahead. Take your time.
All right. So let me share my screen. This is the quickest way for you guys to get all their information. Okay. You just got to get in the habit of taking them to TSA Consultant. We're doing this all in the first appointment, guys. Okay. We take them right directly to the TPA. We go to their ART login. And the majority of them don't even know that this even exists on there. Okay. So if they've never signed in, all they got to do is type in their social security. I'm going to go ahead and just type in, just a random one, see where it takes me. It's probably not going to let me log in. Okay. From the hit login, and then their password, if they've never signed in, it's going to be their 8-digit date of birth. And if they're never logged in at all, their password setup, username setup should all pop up right away. But I've been running into a lot of teachers where I get this message where I said invalid username and password, social security, the date of birth doesn't work. Okay, what that means is they've already logged in and probably didn't remember. As a matter of fact, one teacher logged in back in 2014 and didn't know that. Another teacher I met with this week didn't even know that this website even existed. And when we finally got her in there, she found out that her old financial advisor had logged in for her and was controlling all her salary reductions. Needless to say, the guy's gone on there. She basically told me right there on the spot, that guy's going to be history as far as she's concerned. And now I'm going to be her financial advisor. Now, if they get this message, okay, and Javier, I'll send you the contact info so you can reach out. Just call TSA Consulting Group, okay? If you go back, it's on the main page where they log in. Let me go back to that. Let's see if I can go there. Right there, okay? You guys see this number right here? Write that number down, okay? If you run into a teacher that tries to log in and they got an invalid username and password, call this number, and instead of going to option 4, you want to have them select option 5, and you could do this with them. Okay, once they answer the phone relatively quick. Once you get that person on the phone, it takes 2 seconds to reset their login, and they can go ahead and get into the website. Now, why is this important? Here, let me show you guys real quick. Let me stop my share real quick. Because I ran into this in the last couple of weeks with the teacher that didn't know what she had. Now, let me get that up. Let's see. Guys, give me a second. So I can make this bigger. This is an actual snapshot of the teacher that didn't have anything, or thought she didn't have anything, or didn't know what she had. Okay. As soon as we logged into the website, bam. Yeah, this is somebody that didn't know she had anything. She had $121,000 in 3 separate accounts that were all going to combine into one 403B on there. Okay. So there's a lot of value by taking them to the TSA Consulting Group website. Okay. Again, it's tsacg.com. Okay. tsacg.com. If you just put in TSA, it's going to take you to transportation safety. And you don't want, you don't want to go there. You want to go to tsacg.com and then have them log in on the ART login. And then once you get them set up and in there, you're basically going to have every bit of information, including contract numbers, policy numbers, pretty much everything that you need to go ahead and do the 403B transfer for them as well. All right. So I went through that real quick. It's a lot of quick information because, like I said, I got to get ready for my training right now. Any questions on this, guys, before I sign off and hand it back over to Javier? Anybody at all?
Hi, George.
Yes.
Yeah, this is Chen. Since we are teachers, how do we get an ID to log into the CalSTRS website?
I'm sorry, say that again. Repeat that question.
Yeah, we're not teachers, right? So how do we get a login ID to the CalSTRS website?
You don't. They have to log in. Okay. If you're not a teacher, if you're not a registered teacher that's contributing to CalSTRS,
Right.
you can't get in. They have to get in. So what I'm telling you is you got to get them in. Okay. You have to walk them in to the CalSTRS website themselves. And if they have never signed up, they can go ahead and register. The system should recognize them right away as a teacher. And then that's how you're going to get to their current progress report as well.
Okay, so the samples that you're showing on the PowerPoint, those are the actual, one of the teachers' account then, right?
Yeah, it was a client of mine. She shared her progress report. She allowed me to actually have the progress report on there, and we just took snapshots of the important stuff on that progress report.
Oh, okay, thanks.
Okay. And then make sure you take them to the calculator, guys. Use that online calculator. The reason I do the calculator online, we'll probably have to do that in a separate training, is it's going to show them a more accurate pension as far as what they're going to get, because you can forecast. But more importantly, you're going to show them the modified benefit, which is going to allow you to sell more life insurance on there. And again, we'll cover that in a separate training as far as that. Javier, hopefully I finished up on time for you.
You're good, sir. Thank you very much. We all appreciate that, George. And I just want to emphasize to everybody, this is just a snippet of what you're going to get in the 2.5-hour training that we're going to be doing live. So that if you really want to learn these concepts, they all equate to closing more business, number one. Number two, bigger business, meaning bigger amounts by just one of the things that George mentioned right now. But at the end of the day, it really does boil down to you just improving your skill set. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a wonderful day. And let's go out there and make it a wonderful, productive week as well. Thank you.